So I am currently in the middle of teaching all of my Saturday overnight classes, and that's why it looks kind of like dingy and dark because I don't have like my regular lighting happening right now. But I have time, and so I'm going to use it because otherwise I'll go and lay on the couch and probably fall asleep because I'm just so exhausted from this week, and I know I'm going to be exhausted today. So coffee in hand, and I thought I would just put this together for you guys because I've had it on my list, my long list of to-dos. So I've had a lot of people reach out about teaching English as a second language online, and you know, like what the hiring process looks like and how to be successful and how to get bookings and how to get through the hiring process, as well as like what do I need. I think that's the most common question that I get. So I'm gonna do a separate video on each of those things, on how to get bookings, on how to increase bookings, on how to get through the hiring process, all of that stuff. But because I am literally in the midst of chaos right now, which you can't see, which is good, because it's what my students see. So like my students see from like here up and just my whiteboard. Like they don't see Adobe, they don't see like my printer or anything. But I have all my props out. I have it's chaos, you guys. Like actually, this is what it looks like right now. Like there's my classrooms. This is what's happening, okay? Like there's all my props, random duct tape because kids. So yes, I figured since I have it all out, I would make a video showing the things that I like majorly suggest having. So that's why I figured since it's all out, the mess is real, because this is what, you know, I'm going on like hour 5 of teaching. Technically I've been teaching since 9 o'clock last night, so it's 20 to 7 this morning, so far more than 5 hours, but I had about an hour and a half break in between. So anyways, I figured this would be the easiest way, and I'm already doing it, so I like have it on my head, the things that I absolutely like must have while I teach. So you want to have a lot of props, like you want to have a lot of visuals, because the students can't speak English, okay? So they cannot speak the language that you are teaching them yet, and so they need to be able to connect the dots. They need to be able to see, you know, with TPR, which is like total physical response, they need to be able to see you moving and like biting an apple, or talking on the phone, or saying hi, or happy, or sad, or like whatever. So you can just use like your body movements to get a lot of your stuff across, like what you're trying to say. But guys, it's so much easier when you have a visual for like a bunch of the things that you're going to talk about. And because the lessons are already planned out for you and you're not coming up with new lesson content, it's super easy to have on hand great props. So I'm going to share with you guys, number 1, before I get into like the tech stuff, number 1, you should have a planner, okay? Like you should have a planner. I have 2. I have one for like everyday mom life, and I have this giant one that I write everyday mom stuff in, because when I'm making my schedule for like 2 weeks out, I like to be able to look at this and say, okay, what do I need for the next whatever? What is my availability for the next 2 weeks kind of thing? But then and this is just a happy planner. I'll link everything down below. This is like my go-to planner of choice, just because you can customize it. So all these papers peel out, and you can actually like, you can get the hole puncher thing to make any page go in here. But you can also get like these little extra note things. I have budgeting ones that I have in my other one, all kinds of stuff. So I write on each of these Is this today? No. So this is last week. So that's not going to be helpful. Let's go to this week. Good gracious. So this is this week. So I wrote down all of my classes for today. Like, so these are all of my Saturday classes. And then I've like boxed them from like my first batch this morning, and then I had a break, and then my second batch, and then I have like the whole day, and then I teach 3 classes tonight. And then I have all of my classes for tonight, like going into like my Sunday overnight. But I also, because I still have spots open, because I leave some spots open for short notice bookings, I left those open so that I can write down as they get booked throughout today, throughout tonight. I can write in what that class is, which I actually have to do because some of those got booked while I was teaching earlier this morning. So that's what I do. I write down all of my classes, and it gives me an idea of like, so for example, my 2 a.m. class for my tonight overnight is indoor hobbies. So when I pull up that material, I can look at, okay, like what props do I need to have out? And I have a mixture. I have a mixture of a ton of different props. So I have 2D props, I have digital props, I have 3D props. And so I'm going to show you guys kind of like the ones that I use the most. And yeah, they are like game changer. I have like super simplified my reward system. You always want to have a reward system. I have I don't even know where it is right now. Well, here's the ice cream tops. I have an ice cream reward system, but I need to make a new one because these tops are just too heavy, so they're sliding down, which I don't want. So, yeah, I have an ice cream reward system, but my latest one has been just stars, like as a secondary reward system. My kids absolutely love it. Like they go nuts over it. And every time, like they're Harry Potter themed because duh, but that's really just for me. And then I either stick them on the whiteboard behind me, or for the little guys, I put them on this whiteboard. I write their name, and then I just like stick them on here because this is like a magnetic whiteboard as well. So that's another thing. You don't need to have a 4x3 foot magnetic whiteboard behind you. You don't. I just got that because one, I didn't know what I wanted to put behind me, and I really liked the idea of having a place to put a bunch of like my commonly used props. But I use this in every single class. It doesn't matter if it's with the babies. It doesn't matter if it's with, you know, my 15-year-olds that I teach. I use it in every single class. So I definitely recommend having a whiteboard. And again, I'll link everything down below, guys. So magnetic whiteboard doesn't have to be magnetic. Just have a whiteboard. You can get one at the dollar store. Like it doesn't have to be complicated. I have, like I said, a ton of 2D props. So I have, these are for like my trial class. Hang on. Oh, one of the kiddos is up. So this is for one of my trial classes. But it, again, guys, dollar store. So this is a cookie sheet, but cookie sheets are metal, so they're magnetic. So I got magnets, I stuck them on the back, I laminated it, and now I have for my trial classes, well, this is for like one level of trial classes, but I have these easily accessible. I can just pull them off and show the kids. So if you don't want to pay tons of money for a magnet board, go to the dollar store, spend $1 and get a cookie sheet. The other thing that I have is, obviously I have my 2D props. I have this watch out, Zaza. I have this entire bin, which I got this bin at Michael's. It was $6. I'm actually gonna get more of them because I love it so much, and I'm just gonna separate it by levels. But this has all of my 2D props in it. Watch out your face. And I just put them in baggies. So like here's my trial 3s. Here is one of my my little guy classes. I have them all separated into baggies. So like activities, my level 1 people characters, your face characteristic stuff. Like, guys, I use sandwich baggies, a $6 bin, and we're good to go. I use flashcards, got at the dollar store, okay? Don't have to spend, $1 million. Got them at the dollar store. The other thing, so like, as you can see, like I have a ton of 2D props, like a ton. And they're honestly like my go-to. I love them because I can throw them into this little, I don't even know what this is called, expanding file. That's what it's called. I think it's actually like called an accordion, something or other too. But I can throw them into here if I'm traveling. I use this in the mornings, like overnight. For example, when I'm teaching like a billion classes and I organize the props that I'm gonna need into each little area so that as I go from class to class, I can just pull out each set of props. I got, which again, you don't need this, but I love him. He is my puppet. So I use him for my, my little guys. My little guys love him. He has his own voice. No, I'm not going to show you because I use it for like 3 to 5 year olds. Okay. It's a little bit embarrassing. Maybe one day, but, I love him. I got him off of like the Facebook marketplace thing for like $15, instead of spending whatever brand new. And he's a Melissa and Doug. So I will post down below. And then what else do I have? Okay, well, this isn't a prop or like a teaching thing, but this is a must-have because there's no point in going to like Staples or any other like office supply store and having them laminate all of your props. Like all of my props are laminated. So I could like dump coffee on them or whatever and they won't get wrecked, they won't get wrinkled, they won't get ripped. I don't have to worry about it. But if you go to Staples or an office supply store and you have them do it, it's gonna cost you an arm and a leg. So $25 or $29 or something on Amazon. Amazon Primed it, cause duh. And had it within a day or two. I can't remember if I paid the $1.99 for 1 day shipping. But I use it all the time and it saves me so much money because you just get the laminating sheets. You put your, whatever you printed off as your props into the laminating sheet. It goes through, it laminates it, you cut it out and you're good to go. So you can constantly reuse it instead of having to pay, you know, I know some teachers that have paid like $150 just on some props just to get them laminated and printed at a Staples or something. So my best advice, have a printer, buy your own ink, and you can even use HP's like, I don't even know what it's called, but they have like a monthly cartridge thing. So you never run out of ink and it's way cheaper than in store. So you can do that, but it's just way more cost effective. I got, which Aubrey plays with these a lot, even though she has her own, but I stole this from one of our linen closets, and it's just full of toy food. So like fruits and veggies and little pots and pans and spoons, and I use it in my classes all the time because we talk about food and we talk about eating and we talk about colors, so I can use them for tons of different things. I got them at Value Village, you guys. So if you don't know what Value Village is, I feel really bad for you because I love that place, but it's a thrift store. Go to a thrift store, go to a secondhand store. You're gonna find all kinds of stuff for super cheap. I got that entire thing, like this entire big bag, for $1.99. And it was just like mixed bunch of stuff, and it came in super, super handy. So I have that. I have a huge box of like stuffed animals the kids' toys, the dollar store, that I can use for my little guys to show them like dog and fly and bird and beak and like whatever. So like these are just like a mixture of things that I use, but I've gotten them at like really good prices, free, or I'm just like reusing stuff. Now I will give you a giant tip because I hadn't even thought of going here to get any of my stuff, but I went to Party City, yeah, and got, I was looking for like little egg fillers, and I got, they're little erasers, okay? So they're little tiny erasers. There's like French fries and there's an apple, and I put them inside of Easter eggs, and I use that as a reward system sometimes. But they're super tiny, but these were like 20 cents or 10 cents or something. So super cheap, super fun. The kids love them. Here. So like these are the eggs, and then I pop them open. They get one, and then there's a sandwich, and so I get to teach them like sandwich or whatever. And then, so he wants me to show you this one. So there's this guy in it. Like I just put random stuff in it, but I got all of this at Party City, and everything, like each of the little things, were less than 20 cents each, which was sweet. I also got all of these at Party City, so I can show them like the different kinds of balls. So soccer ball, basketball, football. They were 40 cents. Like super, super cheap. This was like the dollar store. You guys, like you don't have to spend a ton of money, but like when you're just getting into it, get like the basics. You don't need all of the things, but you can have all of the things without spending a crap ton of money. Okay, I bought my whiteboard used because I wasn't gonna spend $300 on a giant whiteboard, because that's what I wanted. I wanted a giant whiteboard, but I didn't want to spend that kind of money. So yeah, those are my major tips when it comes to those things. I will link absolutely everything that I've talked about down below. The I was gonna say the scanner, it's not a scanner, the laminator. I'll put my printer down below, the laminating sheets that you need, my planner that I use, some of the other props and things, magnetic, like the magnet tape, so you just like cut off the pieces of magnets. All of that stuff I will post below for you guys. But yeah, these are like my go-to things. I use them all the time, but I would say out of all of my props, definitely out of all of my props, I use my 2D ones the most. So like all of my laminated ones, I use all the time in every class, no matter what. And then I kind of like pick out little other props here and there, just as like extras. So I hope that that's helpful, because I know that a lot of people have asked like, what do I need? So that's what you need in terms of like props. You want to have things that the kids can visualize. The other thing you want to make sure you have is an Ethernet cable, so that you have a direct line from your computer to your internet, so that it's like a stable internet connection, a good webcam, headphones. I just use these ones because the other ones hurt my ears. I use a laptop, but I like having the mouse because you're like drawing and clicking and stuff. So I have a mouse attached to my laptop. And then I use my iPad. So you can teach from an iPad as well. So it's totally up to you. With my iPad, I have one of these, like the little, I don't even know what they're called. The little, I want to call it a stylus pen. I don't know if that's what it's called. But I use that so that
poker pen.
I don't think so. So I can draw with it. I can like write on the screen. I can circle things. I can click back and forth so I'm not like stabbing with my fingers.
That'd be funny.
So, and again, dollar store. So I hope that that's helpful. Check out below for all the links, all the different things that I use, where to get them, all that kind of stuff. And I'll for sure post deals where I can. But yeah, I hope that this is helpful, and we will talk soon.